Sometimes the most incredible comeback stories aren't just about sports. They're about life. And today, we're diving into one that really gets at a fundamental truth about what it means to not just win, but to thrive. It's the story of a phenomenal athlete who had to walk away from everything just to remember why she even started in the first place.
So this is the big question, right? How does a prodigy, someone at the absolute top of her game, retire at 16, only to come back and become an Olympic champion at 20? I mean, how does that even happen? The answer, it turns out, kinda turns everything we think we know about elite performance on its head.
To really get the comeback, we've got to understand the collapse first. So let's take a look at the early whirlwind career of figure skater Alysa Liu.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's insane. At 13 years old, she's the youngest U.S. national champion ever. By 16, she's competing in the Olympics. From the outside looking in, this is the perfect story, the definition of success. And then, bam, right after the Olympics, at what should be the peak, she just quits, walks away. The big question is, why?
Well, this brings us right to the core of the problem. It's this psychological trap that so many high achievers fall into. And it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, an artist, or a CEO.
And this quote from Alysa, wow, it really says everything. Just try to imagine it for a second. Your entire life decided for you. What you eat, what you wear, the music you skate to, every single minute of your training. For her, the rink stopped being this place of passion. It became an obligation, a job. She had zero control, zero autonomy. So this gets to the heart of the conflict. Think about it. Every great performer starts with that want-to energy, right? That fire, that rage to master that comes from just pure joy and curiosity. But for Alysa, the scale just tipped completely the other way. Her whole world became about pressure from the outside. Parents, coaches, medals, and this constant fear of failure. The sport wasn't a choice anymore, it was a have-to.
And this is where things get, pretty dangerous, psychologically speaking. It leads to something called contingent self-worth. Basically, it's when your answer to the question, who am I, is completely tied to how well you perform. Your value as a human being boils down to your last score, your last win. You're basically handing over the remote control to your own self-esteem to other people. And that's exactly the trap Alysa found herself in.
So how did she get out of it? She did the complete opposite of what anyone would expect. She didn't just take a little break from skating, she went out and built an entirely new identity from the ground up.
So what'd she do? She just lived. Really lived. She went to Nepal and trekked to Everest Base Camp. She enrolled in college. She got her driver's license, dyed her hair. All the normal and not so normal things that gave her an identity that wasn't just Alysa Liu, the figure skater. She wasn't just adding lines to a resume anymore. She was building a life.
And there's actually a fantastic psychological term for this. It's called self-complexity, and it's a really powerful idea. Think of it like this. If your whole identity, your whole sense of self, is balanced on just one pillar, say, I am an athlete, what happens when that pillar gets a little shaky? The whole thing comes crashing down. But what if you're an athlete and a student and a traveler and a friend? You've got multiple pillars holding you up. A setback in one area doesn't totally destroy you. You're more resilient. That's what Alysa was doing, building a much stronger, more complex version of herself.
Her story isn't just inspiring, though. It's actually backed up by some really fascinating science about what makes us tick as humans, all about motivation and the incredible power of choice.
Okay, so it all boils down to this really fundamental idea in psychology called self-determination theory. And the key thing to get here is that autonomy, the feeling of being in the driver's seat of your own life, it's not just a nice to have, it's a basic human need. Seriously, it's right up there with feeling competent or feeling connected to other people. When you don't have it, you wither. But when you get it back, you thrive.
And this isn't just a vague feeling. It's hardwired into our biology. Neuroscientists have actually found that when we feel like we have a choice, the reward center of our brain, this part called the striatum, it literally lights up. The simple act of having control feels good to our brains. It's a reward all by itself. So when Alysa finally decided to come back to the ice, the entire environment shifted. Just look at the difference here. The old way, a totally controlling environment where she was told what to do. The new way, it's all about collaboration with her coach. Before, others chose her music and designed her costumes. Now, she picks her own music, designs her own outfits, she even controls her own diet. It was her career now, completely on her own terms.
So what was the result of this massive shift from being controlled to taking ownership? Well, it was nothing short of spectacular. This is where the story gets really, really good.
Just compare this quote to that first one we saw. It's a complete 180. She's not there because she has to be. She's there because she wants to be. She is actively choosing her own destiny. And that single shift in her mindset, that was the key that unlocked everything else.
And the proof, as they say, is in the pudding. Or, in this case, the performance. We're talking a career best score, 226.79, and she does it on the biggest stage in the world to win Olympic gold. This wasn't just a comeback story. This was her hitting a personal best after she quit, after she went and found herself. And you could just see the difference. I mean, she's out there skating to Donna Summer. She's got platinum blonde streaks in her hair, a lip piercing. She was 100% authentically herself. And the smile on her face, it was the biggest one in the entire building. Why? Because this performance wasn't for anyone else. Not for the judges, not for her coaches, not for her parents. This one was for her. It was pure, unfiltered joy. And that joy is what led to the first American women's figure skating gold in 24 years. So, at the end of the day, Alysa Liu's incredible journey teaches us something really profound. The real secret to elite performance, and hey, maybe just living a good life, isn't about more discipline or more grinding or more control from the outside. It's about ownership. It's about shifting that motivation from external to internal. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Where in your own life, whether it's something big or something small, can you make the shift from have to want to?